Subboos, and welcome to today's Vlogtober video. I was going to make a video talking about what scares me, but I realized that I'm not scared by too many things, so I think that video would be pretty short. So instead, I've found this list online of the top 10 most common phobias, and I'm going to be reacting to them, telling you if I do have these phobias or if I don't, and then sort of just telling you like what it is about it that I am or am not scared of. So without further ado, let's start with number 1. So the first thing on this list is social phobias. I don't really have social phobias. However, sometimes when I'm not in the mood, I just really don't want to do it, and so that sort of gets me like and then I like procrastinate it. So it's not that I'm like afraid, I just don't really like it. And I also am fine in crowds depending on how it is. So I feel like that sort of goes along with this. So like in New York City, I was walking around and there was so many people, and like other people around me were getting nervous that I went with, but I was like ready to go. I was fine with it. But I went to the Twilight Saga, like whenever that came out in the movie theaters at midnight, and there was a lot of people crammed into like the tiny theater, like the concession stand and stuff, and so that kind of freaked me out. I wasn't scared necessarily, but it definitely wasn't comfortable. So it's kind of half and half. I'm not scared, but uncomfortable, yes. Number 2 is trypophobia. It's a fear of circle clusters. I don't really get this one. The reason why they say this is a top fear in people is that it's reminiscent of things we feared in the past, like infectious diseases, dangerous animals, and like the example of a dangerous animal is a bee. So I guess like honeycombs? I don't know. I didn't really get that one. I'm not afraid of holes and circle clusters. That's kind of weird to me. If you have that, let me know. Please explain it down in the comments. I would be interested, but I don't really get it, and I'm not scared of it. Number 3 is the fear of failure. I definitely have this one, honestly. I am afraid to fail, I'm afraid to be wrong, and so I typically avoid situations in which I would fail or be wrong. Whether that be like participating in class when I don't know the answer, or putting myself in that sort of situation. Talking to someone who has very strong opinions and would tell me that I'm wrong, I don't really like to confront those kinds of people because I don't want to be told that I'm wrong. So yeah, I definitely have that one, unfortunately. I mean, I do overcome it a lot. I do take a lot of challenges, and it all pays out in the end. So I think it's not debilitating, but I do have that worry. Number 4 is the fear of death. Absolutely, I'm definitely afraid of death. This also circles back to my fear. This isn't on the list, I don't think. If it is, it's further down, but I'm afraid of like the unknown. I'm really afraid of the unknown, and that sort of, I think, ties in with the fear of failure. I don't know things if they're unknown, so I could fail if I didn't know them. So the fear of death, yes, I'm definitely afraid of death. I know it's gonna happen, and that really freaks me out. And I'm afraid of other people dying too, like not just me. Like I'm afraid of me dying, but I'm also afraid of like people close to me dying because I've experienced that before, and I don't want to again because it was a bad experience, and it's still a bad experience. So yeah, I am afraid of death. Number 5 is the fear of developing a disease. I don't really have this. I mean, there's a general concern, I think, like if I were to get a disease, I would be worried and concerned about the dying aspect. But in terms of like being afraid to get a disease, no. Yeah, no, I'm not really afraid of germs either. Number 6 is arachnophobia, fear of spiders. I honestly used to be afraid of spiders, but I think it was because like as a child, I was convinced that I had to either be afraid of spiders or snakes because everybody else was. So yeah, every time I would see a spider, I would be like, ah, spider. And anytime a spider would see me, it would be like, ah, Kyle. If you don't get that reference, you live a sad life. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not really afraid of spiders anymore because I realized I didn't have to be afraid of spiders if I didn't want to be. and so I'm not. And also spiders are a symbol of abundance, and I actually see a lot of spiders here in the Outer Banks, always near me, so I take that as a good sign. Number 7 is the fear of driving. I don't really have a fear of driving. I was afraid of driving at first, which again ties back into the fear of failure and the fear of death. So like when I hadn't started driving before, obviously I was scared of it. I was really scared to go on the interstate. My mom made me go on the interstate, and like it was busy, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get onto the interstate off this ramp. So I literally like stopped in the middle of the ramp and we almost died. But yeah, I'm not afraid of driving anymore, so that's good. Number 8 is claustrophobia. I do not have this. If you watched my last video, you know that I do MRIs for money, and I think it's fun. So obviously I don't have claustrophobia, or else I would be freaking out in that situation. But in case you don't know what claustrophobia is, it's a fear of enclosed spaces. Number 9 is acrophobia, fear of heights. I don't have this. I love roller coasters. I love seeing those little bridge things that have like the glass on the bottom. I like those little videos of these people in like Asia where there's like big gaps in the bridge and they're like hooked up with a rope thing. I would love to do that. The only thing to go along with fear of heights is that I'm sort of afraid of falling. But I'm not afraid of falling in the sense like I'm afraid to fall. I get scared while falling. So like I don't, or like the anticipation of falling. Like on the little drop zone thing, roller coaster thing where it takes you up and then drops you down. Like in the anticipation of falling, I get like jittery, and then actually falling, I'm like, but then it's over. So, am I afraid of heights? Not really. I would like to go skydiving one day. I think that would be cool, and I think that would finally get over my fear of falling. But am I afraid that the parachute won't work? Maybe. Also, there's a park here in the Outer Banks that does hang gliding, so I could do that too. Maybe before skydiving, because that would be a little bit more mellow, I think, in my opinion. And finally, number 10 is the fear of flying. I don't have this. I was a little nervous on my first flight. Again, the unknown and death. But in terms of actually flying, I'm not afraid of it. I would love to do it more often because I really want to travel a lot. And unfortunately, that can't happen right now, but I really wish it could because I would do it. Alright, so that's it for this list. Please like and subscribe, and definitely let me know in the comments if you have any of these phobias, if you relate to anything I said. I would love to know. If you could explain the whole one, that would be interesting for me. You know, I'm always here to learn something. And I will see you on tomorrow's video.